I will try to answer two questions as quickly as possible in this video. Two questions that are somewhat distinctive. How can one understand their ego? And is religion the ultimate objective truth? See, ego is not something that people fantasize a lot. And when they cannot comprehend things, their fantasy becomes even wider, even broader. And they end up creating ideas and thoughts that they probably entangle themselves in and end up not knowing what reality is. See, the point is, things are the way they should be in the world. If you become too attached to those, if such things get attachments into your head, you will perceive reality in a totally different way, which is Delulu by design. See, when people have sex just to have children, as all other animals have, that is something somewhat normal, let's say, even if they, well, may exaggerate or not. Now, when sex becomes part of your mind and you suffer from a mental attachment towards it, that is what one may call perversion. And obviously, it will go in darker ways and it can root itself and branch itself in different ways depending on people's necessities and the such. If survival enters your mind, you give birth to what you may call your ego. Because your ego is just that, an attachment or an obsession towards survival that is, let's say, in a way made manifest as a little demon in your head, let's put it like that. You're creating a certain energy that imbibes your vibration of survival, and then it tries to survive on its own. Now there's technically two of you inside your head that they both want to survive. The old version of you, whose energies has been imbued into that construct that you call the ego, and the actual you that actually, well, exists and, well, still seeks to survive, because we all live based on the foundations that we have designed through our life. You see, energy is not something that you create something out of and then it goes poof somewhere in cosmos. You're not ever going to get in touch with that. How you think in your early 20s is the most critical because based on those, your life will continue. If you think that you're worthless and you wouldn't be good at anything and you're not worthy of anything and this and that, you will live your whole life with those programmings because those programmings create a certain momentum. Whatever you think of creates a certain momentum, which from time to time it will come back. And that is the natural way of thoughts. When you attach yourself to the thoughts, this natural cycle through which thoughts repeat becomes shorter and shorter. And that's why you get the impression that you can't pull it out of your head. Survival is something that your physical body needs to concern itself with, not you with your mind and your life energies, because you're only gonna create a construct that's obsessed with survival because that is what you designed it to do. That is what you taught it. It's like creating a virtual child in your mind and it seeks to survive. The huge difference is that you have an awareness that you choose not to make use of, while your ego does not have any awareness at all. Whatever you put into its being as programming, that is what it will do. Successful people create similar constructs because they focus on whatever they do. So that is why usually they can only focus on what they do and kind of only that. They probably suck at anything else in the world, but they do what they do best because that is what they mainly focus on. A focused mind is always a dangerous mind. Remember that even the most dangerous minds in the world become very dangerous because they become in tune with what they constantly focus on. That is why so many serial killers have been very good at evading, the authorities. That is why so many psychopaths become so good at hiding their masks. That is why so many narcissists can end up doing so much damage because they focus on their one path so much that they don't need to read books on how to be a disturbed existence. They only need to focus enough on that, and answers will come through their intuition. So that is what one may call the ego. You're just building a construct with your life energies because you have no sense of direction. But the problem is you're going to build a guide that has way more lack of direction than you have because it has no discernment. Only make use of your ego to study your past, to see what necessities you have or you had back then, and what lack of guidance you have, what other lacks you had in your life. Other than that, you won't have any more needs of your ego. It is just a relic of your past. Make use of it as something to put in the museum of your existence and admire it as a great creation of yours, but a creation that never needed to serve you. You just lacked direction, so it made whatever possible it could based on what you gave it to function on. As for the second question, is religion the ultimate truth and is it objective? See, the ultimate truth can exist only in an illusionary level when everyone agrees to it. But an agreement to something, whether done consciously or not, is still a subjective standpoint. Because when people give up due to ignorance, when people think they are worthless, when people think they are not worthy of things, they will simply give up on anything, they will stop pursuing anything, they will become enemies of change. So they will settle for whatever they can, and they will fight against anything that will change that comfort that they have settled for. When it comes to a religion, it has been created by us humans. Those books were designed by us humans, whether they had divine inspiration behind that or not. They were designed by us humans. And, well, that was the initial point. All religions have been changed, shifted, and adapted to suit the ignorant societies that we live in. So therefore, you can never speak of them as being objective truth. You cannot ever be fully objective because you've got a discerning mind. The discerning mind will always make use of some subjectivity. At least 1% to 5% subjectivity you will always have. Being objective means, in general, not investing emotionally into something, but in the end, investing in any way, shape, or form, cerebrally or emotionally, is still an idea of subjectivity. Because a psychopath may not be able to perceive emotion at the same strength the other people may feel, but they can analyze things so well with their mind. So obviously they will always choose the better outcome based on the limited data that they have. Similarly, you cannot tell me that people who are stupid, people who don't know what exists in their life, people who cannot figure out their pains, people who cannot figure out anything in life, people who don't do anything in life, people who only live by their egos. You cannot tell me that these fuckers ended up creating something objective which you end up believing as the ultimate truth. The ultimate truth only exists in communism, where you are forced to believe something, else you are called a pariah and executed if you don't abide to the law. And how many times has religion ended up being used as a tool against its own believers, so that to thin populations, because some of the rulers ended up pissed off and they wanted to see others suffer, because this is how misery functions. If someone suffers, they want everyone else to suffer even more than they are suffering. And it also happens with delusions of suffering. If people think they are suffering, they will still want others to suffer way more than them. You want to be kind to them, they don't want it because suffering is their comfort. These people are obviously in no different. They are obviously no different from our ancestors. Our ancestors had it even worse because back in those times, illiteracy was unfortunately the way. And these religions have been accepted by illiterate people because they had nothing better. People need, in the end, to believe into something. But when you are forced to believe in something generalized, well, I cannot ever agree to the fact that some primitives who know nothing about life, who have even no, what do you put it, who have no sensitivity towards life, who have no respect towards life, end up telling me how I should behave and how I should perceive creation. I will always believe creation will never ever mind itself in its infinity with me, because who am I to think that, creation will ever bother with me? In the end, my existence will matter literally or not at all to creation in its entirety. Because what is the cosmos? Well, almost infinity. Yes? What is your age? Nothing compared to the cosmos. This is something that a lot of egotistical people will believe in, because you think that your survival depends on God. You just sit and do nothing, and you will see no creation will ever change their path to simply do something to you. There are numerous forces in the cosmos that you can call to. Yes, you can make use of such forces, and well, creation really requires that. to create, to constantly expand, because creation simply exists through you. Yes, you are not a trash of creation, you are creation itself in a minor form. Hopefully this video raised a bit of awareness. You are appreciated. Take care, enjoy life. And this being said, Ferenc Jan Power signing out.